Welcome back. Examining our sweet peas with her expertise, almost rhymes, is Charlie Dimmock, star, of course, of Ground Force, and a new gardening programme of her own called Charlie's Garden Army. We thought we'd like to see what you think, Charlie, of a gardening army that we found in Cardiff. It's created by the BTCV, which stands for the British Trust for Conservation Volunteers. You know how companies used to send their workers out onto team-building exercises like mountaineering or paintballing? Well, the new idea from BTCV is that stressed-out office workers should turn to gardening instead. That way, they can get a bit of fresh air and use their energies to turn patches of wasteland into little pieces of paradise. Lara Masters reports.
The changing faces of the 90s, the paintball hit squads have discovered the meaning of hard work rather than hard play. For staff who work 9 till 5 in an office, the paintball-type fun days, which became commonplace in the 80s, proved a real benefit, both in terms of team building and keeping up morale. But times they are a-changing, and when these staff from Barclays Bank in Cardiff head off out, it's not for a day of fun and games, but hard graft.
Hi-ho, hi-ho. It's home from work we go. Hi-ho, 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 hi-ho.
It will be hard work today. I'm hoping we're all ready for it and up for it. There's nothing more I've got to say on health and safety. So, let's get to it. Thank you very much.
BTCV offers the same benefits to staff, but also helps the environment. This team is working in a nature reserve.
Hi-ho, 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 hi-ho,
They gain a huge amount by working in a completely different environment and a new experience. They get to put their skills into practice in a way that they wouldn't normally be able to do in the bank or in any other company that they're working in. So it's very much more constructive than going out and shooting each other with paintballs, because they're doing something very positive at the end of the day and benefiting tremendously in the process.
It's completely different to what we do for a living, which is work 9 to 5 in the office. It gets us out into the fresh air. Our employer's paying for it, and get a good bunch of us together. We can have a good laugh, as well as, you know, doing something good for the community and, you know, for the countryside.
Blister, real blister. First one of the day.
It's something you've got to do together. You can't build a bench on our own, or none of us could. So you've got to work together, you know, talk about it, how you're going to do it, best person doing this, etc. I think, you know, I think it works out really well.
We dig, 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 give our mind the whole day through. To dig, 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 dig is what we like to do.
BTCV's link up with companies with this type of work could have a big impact on the number and scale of projects which is able to tackle. And 95,000 volunteers are also seeing the difference in themselves.
There's an awful lot of benefits for somebody to get out and about and get active. There's a huge amount of sort of therapy for mental therapy within that, and of course there's the physical therapy as well, of actually being active and getting a lot of exercise and getting a lot of fresh air and just having a good time. And it makes you feel much better about yourself, and that's something that we try to encourage. We want to make sure that everybody who comes out with BTCV is having a good time.
I thought it'd be a good way of putting something back into the community, because you're always thinking, oh yes, I should do something, I should put something back, and it's not until somebody sort of puts it on your plate, and I thought it'd be a good idea. And it's good fun.
Obviously, we don't just come here just for the fun of it. It is nice to have a sense of achievement at the end of the day and see that you've made a real difference.
It may not have the thrills and spills of splatting paintball opponents, but if more firms start to adopt the idea of offering their staff green days out, the staff themselves and the countryside will be the real winners.
What do you think, Charlie? Good idea?
Great, wonderful.
Do you use volunteers at all in your new series?
It's all volunteers. I just go along and boss them around a bit, but they actually do the work. And it's incredible when you get a group of people working together, how much you can get done in a short space of time.
It looked slightly dangerous in that film, with a bit of sawing and hammering.
Yeah, but then as time goes on and you do more and more work, you learn how to use the tools more appropriately.
Less bruised thumbs. Is the point about beautifying places, or is it about conservation?
I would say it's a bit of both, and achieving something. That's the really good thing, is that you achieve end result. It's not like working in the office, which a lot of those people did. It's just moving bits of paper and you seem to never get rid of them. Yeah. Whereas you see the end result of a garden developing and growing. So fabulous.
Now, there has been a certain amount of criticism, Charlie, about television gardening.
What? Instant.
Instant. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't think instant gardening's ideal. I mean, Ground Force is really meant to be an entertainment programme and inspire people to maybe go out and do something. I mean, you know yourself, if you can do something in one weekend in the garden and you end up with something as an end result, it's much better for you and gives you more confidence than something that takes all summer to develop. That's something you do once you become more of a gardener and more enthusiastic about it.
But what these volunteers and what the happy owners in Ground Force who you have transformed need to understand also, I suppose, is that you need what I call very long sight. You need to be able to look 5 years ahead, maybe 7 years ahead.
Yeah.
How long does it take to create a garden, in your view?
Yeah, I would say about 7 years to start seeing it mature properly. But if you can achieve something that gives you the inspiration to go on in a weekend, I think that's great.
You've been an inspiration to a lot of people. You know that?
I don't know about that.
You certainly have. Not least me with my blanket weed in my ponds. For the moment, thanks very much indeed, Charlie Dimmock. Thank you. On our very first programme, you may remember, we met Anna and Sean Kennedy. Now, they too had a dream. Their sons Angelo and Patrick are autistic, and hard as they tried, the Kennedys simply couldn't find a school that would give the boys the special education they need. So the Kennedys decided to create one themselves. They remortgaged their home, they took out a loan of £500,000. The London Borough of Hillingdon were extremely helpful and gave them an old abandoned school, and volunteers have helped them decorate and equip it. Anna's kept a video diary for us, and as we count down to the grand opening in September, here's her latest film.